it's kind of fun here talking about these rookies, big rookies making their debut in week one, and they all kind of sort of went the same way. So we talked about Caleb, and we talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Bo Nix there in Denver, RK. Much anticipated debut on the road for him in Seattle, and sort of the same deal. It didn't it didn't match the hype that everyone had. 2 interceptions for Bo Nix, and he did have a rushing touchdown in there though, right? So you got a little bit of love in there.
Yeah, I want you guys to keep a place in your heart for Broncos fans today, because it was a tough day. It was a tough day, and I'm sure there was similar things going on, especially for you guys with your rookies. But here's what happened: is Broncos fans were really low, and then Bo Nix was drafted, and everyone was like, okay. There was some people that were like really into it, but a lot of people were like, not yet for me. I'm in wait and see mode. And then he looked good enough in the preseason for people to just like let their guard down and be like, all right, you know what? Never mind. I'm in. Let's go. Let's do this thing. And so there was a lot of excitement in Broncos country going into this game today. And then it was just really, really tough out there for him. And like I said, it was kind of like comforting to me to have seen that happen to the other rookies as well. But at the same time, Broncos fans, I think, just got their hopes up a little bit, ended up getting hurt today. And, there was nothing easy out there for Bo Nix until that last drive where he did get the rushing touchdown. He, I think, ran for like 30 or so yards on that drive and finally maybe freed up a little bit, wasn't thinking as much, and just kind of went out there and played ball. And maybe they can get to that in the future. But it wasn't good, man. And the game plan didn't feel like it came together. They end up throwing the ball, 42 times with a rookie quarterback when you kind of felt like you could lean on your running game a little bit. So not great. But here is, if you know me, I like a little to put a little spin on it. So here's my spin of the day. Last year, week 1, guy by the name of CJ Stroud goes up against the Ravens, who, of course, their defense was led by Mike Macdonald, now the coach of the Seattle Seahawks. CJ Stroud goes on to have one of the best rookie seasons I've seen by a quarterback. But in that game, he goes 28 of 44 for 242 yards, 5.5 yards per attempt. He gets sacked 5 times. He ends up with a 32 QBR, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You look at what Bo Nix did today, you take away the interceptions and add a couple more yards. Pretty similar. 26 of 42, 138 was 3.3 yards per attempt, which is shocking. 2 sacks, a 30 QBR. So maybe Mike Macdonald just knows how to make a rookie quarterback's life a living hell, and things will get better from here. How'd I do?
Just take away the interceptions. Yep, I like it. Hey, that's a good spin. That's a good spin. RK, I'm still like, I want to tread lightly here because I didn't know how I wanted to handle this on this show. But I am so far out on Bo Nix. It's insane. Please don't take it personally, Broncos fans, because I would have said the same thing no matter where he got drafted. In fact, the only reason that this has me hanging on by a thread at all is that Sean Payton seems to really it's not just talk. He seems to really love this kid, and obviously they drafted him, but even some of the comments he made in the preseason, he's like all in on Bo Nix, and I'm just like shocked by it because going into the draft, guys, I was not high on him. I honestly don't think I would have taken him before the 4th round. And so when the Broncos, now part of this is some of my own probably bias with my own eyes, because I covered a Citrus Bowl when I was still doing sidelines for Northwestern, where he was the quarterback for Auburn, and he was so bad in that game that I probably can't get that out of my head. And there's no doubt he went to Oregon and got a lot better, like 100%. Obviously he did, but I just didn't see that translating to the NFL. So I am very intrigued by this. And again, I think we all have respect for Sean Payton as a coach. And so if he believes in this dude, there's got to be something there. And I'm not going to be all out on him just now after one game, but hanging on a thread here, RK. Your response.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I'm obviously going to be higher on Bo than you are, but at the same time, I had some of the same thoughts and feelings that you had. I wasn't totally sold on him coming into the draft, and the biggest selling point for me was exactly what you said: Sean Payton being all in on the kid. And even after the game today, I mean, the contrast between the way that Sean Payton talked about his quarterback last season after games and the way that he talked about him today, you can tell that like he really believes in Bo Nix and really wants to defend him. You know, he's saying, you know, most of all his comments about Bo after the game were just like, we have to do better for Bo. This is not his fault. You know, we got to run the ball better. I've got to call better plays. So um, it's interesting. And there was flashes in the preseason where it was like, okay, you can kind of see why Sean Payton feels comfortable with him running his scheme. But credit to the Seahawks. They made it incredibly difficult today. And you know, Bo, I think, just started to feel like he needed to make something happen. And you know, when you're at Oregon and you're more talented than everyone, you can do that. But he learned today that you can't just kind of force points onto the board in the NFL.
It's a brutal place to make a debut. Sorry, Zach. I mean, Arcade was, you know, a rookie quarterback's best friend could be a run game. And I'm just looking at the stats, and I'm looking at this as a one-possession game going into the fourth quarter. Bo Nix led the team in rushing with 35 yards. Does Sean Payton have already maybe too much respect for Bo too early?
I don't know. It was so odd to me because I felt like they were running the ball well early. I mean, it was kind of a tale of two halves type of thing. Like, you know, they had Javonte Williams involved early, and they drove down the field, and things were looking good, and the defense was completely stifling the Seahawks on the other side. And then I think you know, a lot of offensive coordinators can find themselves guilty of this, where it's just like the run gets stuffed a couple times and you start ending up in 2nd and 9 situations, and you just start saying like, yeah, let's just throw it. And I think they panicked a little bit too early, which is, again, like Sean Payton kind of admitted after the game, I've got to do a better job. But you kind of expect better from Sean Payton. You know, this isn't a rookie offensive coordinator who, you know, falls in love with the pass at a bad time. And so I didn't think that he gave Bo the best chance to succeed. I will say, when you look at, you know, the average yards per completion being 3.3 yards, you start to realize that a lot of this was just trying to use the pass as the extension of the run game and just, you know, stack up easy completions for Bo Nix to maybe try and lift up his confidence. But they did not do a great job of putting Bo in positions to make it easy on him today.
I'm glad you said this because there's a lot of Sean Payton love, hype, however you want to frame it. Sean Payton needs to do a better job here, right? I mean, now granted, when I'm watching this game today, a lot of it's on Red Zone channel. I was more tuned into the Cowboys game. But even when you look at the numbers, 18 third down attempts, right? The Broncos and the Giants had the most third down attempts in the league today. And then you're saying, all right, well, how are you helping him when you get third down? Is it third and manageable? No, I mean, they had 9 third and longs. So they're putting him behind the 8 ball right there as it is. And it sounds like Coach Speak to say you need to do better on first and second down. But it's hard to win in this league when you're in third and long 9 times during a game, especially with a rookie quarterback. So, I mean, part of this is, I suppose, me ranting, but it's a question too. Like, what does Sean Payton need to do to make this easier for Bo Nix?
I mean, run the ball. You know, it feels easy, and it's kind of like a cliche thing that you say after you lose a game like this. But you invested a lot of money into your offensive line, and they did have some bumps and bruises on the offensive line today. You know, at the end of the game, Garrett Bowles wasn't in there, starting left tackle. I saw the right tackle go out at one point, McGlinchey. So it's like you did have some things you're dealing with there, but you invested a lot of money into this offensive line, and most of these guys, you know, Quinn Miners, Mike McGlinchey, Ben Powers. These are guys who you expect to be able to move guys around in the run game. And you have a talented stable of backs. So I just think they have to do a much better job of saying, hey, we are going to give these guys opportunities, scheme up creative runs. Go back and watch the Rams and the Lions tonight if you want to see, ways to open holes for your running backs and get linebackers moving in the wrong direction. And then, allow Bo Nix to use his athleticism to get off some play action stuff and make some easy throws.
And I want to be clear to any of the Broncos fans watching, because I don't want to sound too harsh. Like I'm not basing this on what Bo Nix did today. That's not fair. This is more my pre-draft analysis of him. And again, going back to the idea of, okay, man, if Sean Payton loves this kid and they're this high on him that they're going to take him where they did, it's certainly been interesting. So I'm going to continue to follow it. I also do want to say, RK, I feel for you. You've had a long, rough weekend, if we're going to throw in the Buffs game yesterday. And I had your back yesterday. I was on the Buffaloes, so it didn't really come to play for that one, but I was basing that more on the fact that just Nebraska usually sucks. Yeah. And they just didn't, and they have little mini Patrick Mahomes running around there, and he's pretty damn good, so that was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. But I also got to spend the weekend hanging out with my friends, making content.
How was the bus, dude? That looked awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was really, really fun. And I got to say, it's a long time to be on the road. But when you're just sitting on a couch, scrolling your phone, watching the NFL, it doesn't really feel like you're on the road, other than the fact that, your couch is rattling around. But I truly enjoyed it. It was awesome, and we're doing it the whole rest of the season, so it's a good thing that I liked it.
We actually, I believe, Emma, if you want to bring it up now, we have a super chat on this subject, I believe, because this guy brags in the stands that may or may not work for our company. He had hosted his share of shows today too. $5 super chat coming in. He's saying, I am personally requesting the Great American Stampede comes to a CHGO Bears tailgate.
Well, first of all, is that a fraudulent super chat from Braggs? Did he self-type that, or did he actually put one in there?
It's a real one. It's a real one. I promise.
Okay, all right.
And he does it. Braggs. He does this on our own show, by the way. He super chats his own show while he's on it.
Man.
Wow,
that's a Braggs hack, though, RK, that I could see him pulling.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I would love to. You guys got to talk to your people that in the Big Ten and get Colorado, the invite in there. So then we can get Nebraska on the schedule every year again.
I was gonna say you guys should just be in the Big Ten at this point.
Yeah, let's do it.
Makes more sense than Oregon and Washington. Whatever. These conferences don't even matter anymore.
And I love the Big 12, but I'll take the stability of the more powerful conference.
We all silly like the mayor.